hit the go live button.
All right, I am. Yep,
And we're
record.
live. Tell your friends you're listening to the Verhoeven Effect podcast. I'm Conlon.
And I'm Nathan.
And tonight we have another very special episode. We have the 1980 movie Airplane with an exclamation point. Nathan, what's your history with Airplane?
This is probably. I don't do a lot of comedies. That where I just like will watch them over and over and over again. This is probably one of my favorite comedies. This is the kind of humor. If you're going to have humor, it's got to be a lot of stuff like this, where it's things that aren't funny and it's just people interpreting everything literally. It's like I love that kind of humor. But I don't like all the movies these guys have made. I like this, and I like the Naked Gun stuff. And then like what's another one I like? I like Blazing Saddles, different group of people, but
Top Secret.
Top Secret was ridiculous and fun.
Well, some people split off and did different things because like Abrams went off and did the Hot Shot series, which I like.
Yeah.
And then David Zucker, I think, directed one of the later, I think a couple of the later Scary Movie movies.
Okay, I could see that.
Which I remember being not terrible, but that's because I really hated Scary Movie 2. So it's like, they also like went PG-13, which was weird. So it's like, okay, that's kind of missing. I feel like that's missing the point of the Scary Movie franchise. Well, yeah, the thing I love about these movies is just the layers of throwaway jokes where it's like, if you don't happen to find one joke like the first time through, you'll find something in the background or some somebody speaking off screen or something like that, where it's like, oh, there's actually like 8 jokes here, but you only get one the first time viewing.
Yeah, the density of humor in this movie is incomprehensible. There's so many things going on.
Yeah, it's the Tenet of its time.
yeah, you don't know what's happening. The only thing that's not going on is people running in reverse and stuff, but yeah,
which that might be happening.
That is, I didn't. Well, I like. There's two things I like. It's like why I used to like the early Family Guy too. Anything that's surreal and that where nobody's laughing and everyone's just like saying ridiculous things but just playing it straight. For some reason, I love that.
Yeah.
That is the most funny thing to me. or somebody farting really loud. Like that too. I will also enjoy that.
Oh, in Congress with somebody being very serious.
Yes, that's even better. I mean, I watch videos on YouTube of guys that have like farting machines and they'll stare at people and talk to them like they're asking them a serious question and then do the farting machine and never break character. And people be like, the normal human reaction, like, what the hell is wrong with you? What are you doing here? Like sometimes it can get scary. Like, oh, someone's going to get punched for farting. But yeah, so I do enjoy that kind of, I don't know. There's something about that kind of humor that I like.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a combination
of underreacting to really like insane stuff. Just like looking.
Well, it's like
car on fire. Like, oh, that's bad.
Well, it's like technically this movie is based on like another movie that's serious, and they're basically technically recreating it, but because the context makes it funny. Whereas it's like almost like that's what they're making fun of, is like these movies are overly serious and hilarious. And like, in the original creation is meant to be taken seriously, and then they look at it as like, oh no, it wasn't done well, so it's just ridiculous. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's obviously like, but there's also like the reason we watched Airport was because of this movie. It's like, I want to see where the jokes come from, even though technically they didn't really come from there. They came from different. Well, I mean, by the time this came out, there had been 4 Airport movies, so it obviously had some influence.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because this was actually based on what, 0 Hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Which had the same like the.
It's the same plot. It's same. It's Ted Stryker is the main character on 0 Hour. So.
Yeah.
Which I think there's actually 2 different productions of that. There's like a American TV movie version, and there's like a Canadian TV movie version.
Oh, okay, weird. Can't get enough of that.
And it's written. And it's written by the guy who wrote Airport. Like they're both. It's
just aircraft dramas.
Yeah. Oh, which there was tons. Because there's 4 Airport movies, which had all been wrapped up before this came out. I was actually looking up like, oh, what's another like mini feature we can do, and I was kind of looking up like, you know, like skyjacking, like hijacking airplanes, and then like I gave up after like, oh, there's like 18, 19 different movies about like hijacking airplanes. It's like, nah, let's not do that. Because there's like Heston was in like Airport 75, and then he's in another airport movie just called Skyjacking, and there's like tons of others just like, hijacking airplane movies. And then eventually we'd get to like, Air Force One. The other one I was thinking of was Daryl, because he like steals the SR-71 in that one. And I was also thinking of like Flight of the Intruder. There's a lot of things you could throw in there, but it's like, let's not do it. Came out July 2nd, 1980. Did you see that? Happen to see this in theaters, or where'd you first see this?
I don't think I saw this in theaters, but I did see it in like the mid 80s. I would have been like 10 or 11 years old when I saw it. Yeah, because I would have been like 6 when this came out. So I think Mom and Dad were taking me to see this.
It's directed by and written by Jim Abrams, David Zucker, and Jerry Zucker, who they did Kentucky Fried or the Kentucky Fried Movie before this, which I guess that was like their comedy group, because they're like all Milwaukee guys. Like I didn't know they're like Midwesterners. Because like I guess that's why like there's actually a bunch of references to like some of their Kentucky Fried Movie stuff in this. But like I just did a scrub watch before I watched this. I've never seen it before. Have you ever watched Kentucky Fried Movie?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's basically just a series of skits in a row. So, but yeah, there's a bunch of people that kind of cross over in here, because there are a bunch of people in this movie. It's like, oh, they're funny in this movie, and then they just kind of like disappear from the world. It's like, oh, I guess they never existed, but that's because they're like Midwest comedy people. Like, they didn't really travel out to Hollywood to do movies. The cinematographer was Joseph F. Bierock, who was just kind of a consummate, like studio cinematographer. So, he actually worked on one of the camera departments in the Towering Inferno. So,
okay.
But yeah, he did like 167 movies. So, this might be his most well-known movie. But yeah, he's just kind of a guy who, he's a work for hire guy. So, I mean, it's comedy. What do you expect? You're not expecting like Oscars off of for comedy cinematography. So, then it stars Robert Hayes, Julie Haggerty, and Leslie Nielsen, and a bunch of other people mentions, but that's who they mention up front there. Which I don't know, kind of, almost like, I don't know, it's like almost everybody's a nobody in this movie. Like who do you think at the time this came out was the biggest actor in this movie? I guess technically besides Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he's the most famous person in this movie.
Peter Graves, Lloyd Bridges, and Robert Stack were pretty well known.
Okay.
I don't know where Leslie Nielsen was at this. I heard this was his first comedy movie.
Yeah.
Because I know he's like famously for me, it was like he's the captain in Forbidden Planet.
Yeah. Yeah, because it seemed a lot of people here were like very serious actors, and then that's what they were hired to do, and it comes off as funny because of it. And then they kind of all went on to do like, then that just became another feather in their hat, where like they all went on to do a lot of comedy, and some people went back to serious stuff. But Leslie Nielsen kind of just like fully leaned into comedy after this.
Yeah.
And, of course, Robert Stack went to go do Unsolved Mysteries. I don't even know when that comes out. That's what I know him mostly for.
Yeah, I mean, most people our age around our age would probably know him for that. I think was he in Hawaii 5-0?
He might have been, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, like Lloyd Bridges, I feel like I should know him more and stuff, but then like I feel like when I looked up his stuff, it's like, oh, I don't recognize half the stuff, so I don't know. Maybe I just really liked him in this. Oh
yeah. I think maybe Unsolved Mysteries was his longest running job. That was on from 87 to 2002. I don't know if he was on it that whole time. But.
Well, I know they did like a new one with like Stacy Keach or something, and then I think there's an even newer one or something that's like
I think
came
there's
out.
a new one on Netflix.
Okay. Um, director Jim Abrams, who, like I said, he went on to do Hot Shots, and he did the Mafia movie with like the exclamation point, which I remember being not good, and that was like his last movie. David Zucker, I think he was like the right wing Zucker brother. He went on to do the Scary Movie movies.
Okay.
And then Jerry Zucker has like a weird like turn where he like gets away from comedy because he does. Let's see here. He directs because he's like associate. They're all associated together. Like they all came back together to do Top Secret, and then I think they all worked together slightly on. Well, they all worked together on the TV show for Police Squad, and then some of them. I think it was just the Zucker brothers for the movies for Naked Gun.
Okay.
Yeah, but then Jerry Zucker goes off and does Ruthless People, which is like more of a dark comedy. Then after that, he does Ghost, which is a huge movie. The paranormal,
That's
romantic
right. He
movie.
did direct that, didn't he? I forgot about that.
And then he does First Night, like that one Richard Gere, Knights of the Round movie.
Is that the one with Sean Connery? Like,
Yeah.
Is like in 4 scenes.
Yeah.
He plays King Arthur.
Yeah. And then he did his last movie was Rat Race, which I hear is like a criminally underrated comedy. But I've never actually sat down and actually watched it. I just remember that had like Mr. Bean
in cast. Like John Cleese, Rowan Atkinson, Cuba Gooding Jr., Whoopi Goldberg. Huh.
I mean, she worked with him on Ghost, so yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
He got her an Oscars, that was the last movie he directed. So, I mean, Ghost made like $500 million, so he probably didn't have to worry about anything after that.
Yeah, I remember Ghost was huge. How much money did that make? Like $500 million. Okay, yeah. Wow, that's a lot of money.
I mean, that's
for 1990. That's a huge amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, that's might be how they report the statistics too, because the further back you go, the weirder that stuff gets.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because when we were looking into like budget stuff in the '70s movies, it's like, oh, this cost $10 million and made like anywhere from $400 to $400 million. Like, well, which one is it?
It's like a big margin. If I was getting the percentage there, I'd want that number a little tighter than that.
But it also seemed like worldwide budget was either just like disappeared into an abyss, or it wasn't tracked very well, or stuff like that. Where now that can all just be easily tracked, or better tracked. So we have Act 1. We got Cotton Clouds and the Jaws theme. So we're immediately start with the Jaws theme. And we get like the wing of the airplane as a shark fin going back and forth. And then it just kind of jumps at the camera. And we got the airplane and like kind of like, I don't even know what that font is. Just some kind of not impact font. Yeah, it's something. I'm not even sure if that's a joke. I don't even know if that's a font joke. That could be, for all I know.
Yeah, it might be.
They've got to a real airport with a plane landing. We have kind of credits playing over, kind of like a doo-doo-doo kind of soundtrack going on here. Then we get people getting let off at the airport. We have the dueling announcers where like the white lane is for, and then the stuff, which just goes on for like through multiple scenes. But
I know what this is really about. You want me to have an abortion,
which I don't.
Basically, the conversation from the original airport.
Yeah.
The pilot and the co-pilot, or the stewardess.
Yeah. So that joke I guess makes more sense now. But I don't think I ever listened to these people until like this.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think I tuned out because I think like, I think at some point he says like, "Stop being a bitch, Carol," or something like that, and then like I laughed at that, and then never paid attention to the rest of it. So, we get Julie Haggerty plays Elaine. We follow her into the airport. Who she's like? We last saw her in Instant Family, which I think she plays one of the spaced out parents or whatever. That's kind of her role. She seems like somebody who's on mood stabilizers
Yeah,
constantly.
yeah. She seems like
And I don't
and
know if that's her actual personality or if that's just what her acting is.
I think that's just how it works out. Yeah, it's kind of one of those people that's like that's the role. It's like I want a vaguely lost woman. It's like, well, you want Julie Haggerty because how she looks.
um, I heard she gets stopped by Harry Kishnos, but that's not correct. This is like I don't know who these people are. It's like do you have time to like to the Church of Christ or something like that?
Church of the Enlightenment, or
Yeah,
it's just every wacko LA based religious nonsense at the airport.
yeah. Which I guess this used to
There
be.
was a time at the airport when you would just be inundated with people selling stuff or running scams. Now all airports are like high security areas, so
Yeah.
you don't have that much anymore. But
No, the scam I ran into is like one time I was getting off a taxi there's like some guy helping with the luggage, and I was like, oh cool, I guess it's just a part of the deal. And then when we get to our location at the USO, then they're like, all right, well, how much do you want to pay me? I'm like, pay you? It's like, hey, that's up to you, man. They like guilt you into it. So it's like, yeah, don't let anybody touch your shit.
as long as there's blood in these veins, carrying this bag. Can I help you with that? Not unless it's free.
And
And
like even
nothing's free.
yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what his job is. He was like, I don't know what the hell is going on there. He's like affiliated with something with the airport. He wasn't just loosely there. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
those are bag check guys.
Yeah,
And they have like official looking uniforms, but I think they're like subcontractors to the airlines.
yeah.
But it's just like, no, I got it. Thanks.
um, let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Then actual Hare Krishna show up, which I don't even know what those people are. I just know they have like the robes and weird haircuts. So
It's just some weird California cult, I think.
okay.
I think it goes back to India. Like it's based on like what do they call those guys? The wise men over there. What do they call the holy men over there in the ashrams? There's a name for them. Anyway, yeah, it's like Hindu wise men.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all based on that kind of stuff.
Well, I was because it seems like vaguely similar to like Buddhism, so I didn't know I didn't know if that was a different thing or a crossover of it, or if they're holding kind of similar.
Well, I think Buddhism's based on Hinduism. I'm not sure though. Let me look this up.
Yeah, I forget all that stuff.
I'm kind of vague on like the Judeo-Christian religion. It's like, oh, I know that there's like the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, known colloquially as Hare Krishnas. Yeah, it's based on Hindu scriptures.
Okay.
And starts in India, but yeah, whatever it is in America. It's basically a way to separate Westerners from their money by something that seems exotic.
Pay for
It's
your
like, hey, if
forgiveness.
this was a world-beating strategy, have you ever been to India? Okay, answer is provided.
Then we have Betty and Vernon, the announcers, talk about having an abortion.
Yeah.
That's the end of them, but it was a funny little bit.
And I guess those are actual people that do those announcements at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those were the actual people that did those. That's
Huh.
what I heard. I can't verify it. It's like, okay, it sounds cool.
Yeah, would they ever have like two announcers like that? I don't think I ever heard that where it's like one announcer and then another announcer.
I don't know if they would, pair up because I know it was a husband and wife team that did announcements at airports, but I don't know if they did them like in concert. Like, I am the voice of the red zone, and I am the voice of the white zone. It's like I don't think it's that. It's just funny.
Then we got Ted Stryker. He shows up. He pulls up in his taxi and then like runs off. There's somebody in his cab.
Like hops the curb, like the taxi, like this. Somebody jumps in the taxi.
He's walking off, and then the guy jumps in the taxi, and so he makes sure to turn the meter on before he leaves. He's about to hop onto an airplane. He leaves. Yeah, as he's walking, he gets inundated by the people like wondering if they want to join the church or give money to him. And like one of them like grabs his coat and he just like runs off and leaves the coat with him. So it's like, I'm guessing this is supposed to be a big thing at time because they make a huge. They come back to this like, I mean that's just the comedy joke of three. So we have one, here's two, and then we'll have a third one later on. So
The third one's like over the top. It's the
Yes.
tip of the pyramid. Yeah.
Then we have it. Then we have a joke where we cut to like one of the people at the wands like they're guiding the plane, and like there's a joke where the plane gets just directed into the airport wall. So
Yeah, like the guys flying the plane are just like robots. It's like, oh, he told us to go to the left, and they just dive into the concourse waiting. And there's this huge plane that it's like I forget there's a breakdown of how that scene was filmed. It's actually pretty cool.
yeah, because I was looking, I was like, that looked like they just like really did that. Like, well, I don't know. I don't think this movie has that kind of money, but I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe it's just well done
Yeah, I
miniatures.
think it was forced perspective because
Okay.
if you pay attention, it is a large set piece, but it's just the fuselage of the plane. There's no wings or anything,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it cuts away real fast. Because if you see the special effect from the side, it's just the front of the plane built up on some kind of vehicle that's just driving it
Okay.
into. But it's driving it into something that's maybe 12 feet tall, and then they just put that. They kind of graph that film over people running and yelling. And it's like, oh, okay. But see, it was all real dark, so it looked cool.
Yeah, yeah. I was well. I don't know. That's kind of the almost bulletproof nature of like spoof movies, and I guess comedies in general. Is sometimes it's funnier the cheaper you do something.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like if you did Star Wars as a gag film, it's like, wow, you're really hitting on all cylinders here, except it's almost not funny because the amount of work that
Yes.
we wasted our time.
Which I feel like I have like a theory, and I've never done this like follow through on it. I have a feeling it seems like comedy was ruined by The Hangover, because it feels like those movies were like really expensive to make and they made a lot of money, and then everything after that just wasn't funny anymore because people try to like, yeah, we can make a serious comedy movie. It's like, oh Jesus. Like,
No.
trying to be Scorsese.
To my mind, that is actually the hardest form of entertainment, period. Because I don't do, I'm not an entertainer, obviously, but when I imagine like, there's so many, like I have such a reading background of like great stories, and like, oh, this could be dark, and this could be cool, and this could be, engrossing, and this could be like, oh, I could see how you could take over people's thought process with this. But when it comes to like, oh, how do you make people laugh? I'm like a total black screen. Like, I don't know how people do this. I don't. When you just sit down and write comedy, it's like that seems really hard.
Yeah, and to like not just go for like what contemporary things that are going on, because I wonder, because like it's definitely like a mix here of what it's doing. But I wonder if Grayson saw this, if he would like he'd have to laugh at stuff because it's just ridiculous like visuals and stuff like that. Because even there's a bunch of stuff here that even maybe I don't even have background or to understand the joke for it.
Yeah, it's a very much a movie of the 70s. It's not, that's why it's fun to watch all the airport disaster movies and then watch this, because you realize like what it is. And but yeah, I don't know, I'd have to have my son watch this and see what he thought of it. He'd probably think it was funny. Grayson's into a lot of that weird like meme, like he'll send me stuff on the phone where it's just like a really crudely drawn like what's that game that him and his friends all used to love, where you build stuff?
Oh, Fortnite?
Crafting
Oh,
world.
Minecraft?
Minecraft. Yeah, that was outside of like Elder Scrolls. That was his like main game. That and the ones where they're in the vault. Fallout.
Yeah.
But he finds memes with like those pictures. And he'll send them to me, but it's always like weird, abstract things that almost aren't related to the pictures.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's
But yeah, it's hard to make comedy that will like last generations. Like that's almost impossible.
yeah, even like I'm trying to think like Monty Python's like Holy Grail might because it's made about something else.
Well, I think like probably the thing that lasts the furthest to me, because I feel like the further you go back, comedies just get worse and worse. Even though at the time they're probably received well, but
Hold on a second, we got to
right.
pause here. What happened?
A huge transformer blew. They have no power, and somebody's yard's on fire, and there's fire trucks down there because of it.
Okay, my son's the transformer outside his house blew up, and the fire department's there, so we got to go get him.
All right.
Sorry about that. I'll let you know when we're back.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just stop it here, and I'll send you this file when I get back.
All right.